Okay, we're live. 3, 2, 1. Hello, everyone. Welcome to episodes. I think it's 61, and we're gonna call it Encryption Backdoors. Tom has some good stuff on encryption and backdoors and all this other good stuff. But I don't know. I first want to apologize last week for Tom's audio. I hope it didn't really turn you off. We had a really good discussion of the top 10 apps, and if you could just bear with us through that, hopefully today will be better.
Yeah, it was something nasty. I have called and complained to my local ISP. So,
which is soon to be everyone's ISP, like all 100% of the population. And let me guess, they told you that there was nothing wrong on their end.
No. Can you unhook everything in your home? Yes, for the 5th time, I will unhook everything in my home. No, I see you've plugged in the computer. Yes, just like you told me to. What does speed test say? Well, my ping's at about 600, so that's not good. What's a ping? Can you give me level 2?
Well, look, when it comes to tech support like this, you know what? I'm very nice, and I think you are too. I don't think you're going after them because you know what they're going to say. They're going to tell you to unplug it. They're going to tell you to restart. And you know what? For most people, that's okay. That's going to solve the problem. But there's no badge. There's no, like, TSA pre that says, we know what we're doing.
Yeah.
And from what I got from people is that people who know what they're doing generally don't know. So, I mean, I had an Amazon issue the other day, and they're like, we need you to, the Kindle wasn't connecting to Wi-Fi. Restart your router. And I'm like, I don't think you understand what that means to me. That means I have to go downstairs to the basement. I have to turn off a server. I got to do this. I got to do that. Just tell me all the steps. You want me to restart it? Okay, I'll just restart it. You need me to restart it and then plug one thing in at a time and test this and test that. That won't happen today.
Yeah. I used to work tech support, and I've gotten calls from network engineers, software programmers, and royalty on one instance. At least they claimed to be royalty. They were a little crazy. And in those cases, these people had no idea what to do. I said, well, this guy claiming to be a network engineer, can you check your DNS settings for me? A what? Check a what? Oh, hang on. Let me look at our network. What's your MAC address? I'm going to try to look for you in the logs. No, I have a PC.
Yeah,
it was kind of funny.
What I end up doing, and I don't want to like divert too much, but basically, I'm very polite and I say, hey, look, I never say I know what I'm doing. I never say that because generally the people who say that don't. Did you restart it? Look, I've restarted it, but I will restart it again for you. I will restart the computer. I've done it already, but I know you have to follow a script, so I'm here listening.
Yeah.
And after a few minutes, they'll realize that you either know what you're doing, you'll either fix the problem, or you know what they figure it out and they'll move you up the chain.
Yeah. And these people, believe it or not, contrary to popular belief, tech support is not out to ruin your entire life and suck away all of your free time. The job annoys them even more than it annoys you, because where you have to make that phone call once, they have to answer that phone call all day, every day. So next time you encounter a tech support person, give them a hug, rate them 5 stars on that mandatory survey that pops up. It's not an easy job.
They didn't hang up on you on purpose. They didn't do anything. Yeah. They have a quota. They have to get off. They have to answer X number of calls in so many minutes or hours or whatever it is. So that's why you get transferred. It's their job. Look, it's get frustrating, but we all end up dealing with it. And you know what? Reward companies that have good customer service. I've never had really a problem with T-Mobile, so I always recommend them highly. And better customer service. What happened with Dell? Dell had the cheapest everything, and then everyone got mad that their customer support was bad. So people started leaving, and Dell sank down the tubes, ended up going back private, and they started bringing their workers back.
Yeah.
So use your wallet and go from there. So let's see. The first topic, these are just in a random assortment. I saw today a WhatsApp going as a Chrome extension.
Yes, it looks like they're bringing out a web version.
So you and I, Tom, we tried, what was it, Chat Secure over the weekend?
Mm-hmm.
And I really want to like it. I really do, because as much as we like Threema, and we talked about this last week with WhatsApp, Threema, people have to pay money for an app, and it's only on the phone. And you say, well, chat secure, you can use it with Pigeon. Once AIM died, Pigeon is just so 1999, and you know, and that's the problem.
It hurts for me to say this because I use Pigeon every day, and I love it to death. I mean, I use it because I like having the tiny windows, and I don't like Chrome running all the time because it sucks away my RAM, and I'm running big, heavy virtual machines. I want something light and airy that can sign into everything, and it gives me IRC. So I run Pigeon. But its usefulness really, really died out in the 90s when you had to have MSN and Yahoo Messenger and AIM and Skype just to talk to all your friends because everyone was on something different, but you still wanted to talk to all of them. So you could either have 4 or 5 different messaging applications and a website up all at once, or you can install Pigeon or another multiple account chat client and have everyone in one list. And the thing I really loved about Pigeon is that they had tabbed conversations.
Yes.
Where on AIM, you would have, like, boxes everywhere, just like old school IE6. No. Pigeon, or as it was called back then, GAIM, G-A-I-M.
Yes, GAIM.
With the little dude as the icon. It was such a rad program. It's got tabbed conversations. It really makes everything awesome.
Look,
and
as soon as
they've got the OTR plugin now.
Well, I saw that, and that was the problem. And on the Mac, it's Adium. But my big problem is that I run Chromebook most of the day. I run on a Chromebook most of the day, so for me, it's like there's not yet a Chrome extent. I was looking. So there's all these different things, and it's still not there, but Chat Secure and Pigeon OTR is the best encompassing. And then I saw this. WhatsApp is going for an extension type thing. And I think it works off like how the Mac works with handoff, where you have to have your phone in range, but it will Bluetooth or somehow the information over. Like your phone is still the conduit, but it's like a push bullet type thing. And I didn't read too much into it. I want to play with it. But that may be where it's at. Yeah.
I mean, now that WhatsApp has really made a big push for security and privacy, and we'll see, like we said before, I don't want everyone jumping en masse to WhatsApp because of a press release. We'll see, when the rest of us security goons get into bashing it around a little bit, if it's really secure. But, if it's going to be really secure, it's going to have a web version, it's going to have a mobile version, why not? Why wouldn't you use it? I mean, that would be the best case for everyone. And it's not impossible to do. It's just, pretty hard, and it's really hard to make that interface nice.
And look, WhatsApp on the phone works really well. So it's there. It's I think it's coming along. Maybe our goal, maybe in 2015 we see a nice version of some sort of secure chatting client like that.
That would be very nice.
And I think, you know what? This could be a Facebook push. I don't know if this is a WhatsApp push. This may be a Facebook push.
That would be interesting, because that means that Facebook isn't interested in reading the contents of your messages. I mean, we all know that in plain text messages, Google, Facebook, everyone like that, every type of social network scans the contents of your message to show you better ads. So if you're talking about, oh yeah, I think I need a new graphics card, you'll start seeing ads for graphics cards. Or I was thinking about buying a boat. It'll show you ads for boat selling websites or stuff like that. But Facebook has always put more importance and more selling power on being able to sell advertisers your social connections in your social groups by saying, hey, this person talks to this person a lot, which talks to this person, which makes this big graph, and we've got a demographic here that you can push ads towards. We don't know what they're talking about, but we know they're talking to each other. And honestly, that's really the more important thing.
I think that if they can somehow match the user to the Facebook profile, they can figure out a way, they can figure out a way to say, we don't care about the contents of the chat. I don't think that they're going to have chat. They're going to post the important stuff on Facebook. Let's get rid of the noise of, what did you have for dinner? Where are we meeting? This selfie, that selfie, all this other stuff. And let's focus. If they're posting on Facebook, it's important enough that we have to pay attention. And I may be completely wrong, but I have a feeling that I'm not too far off from what they care about.
I would really like, and it would be very hard to do this without some sort of mixing service. It would be technologically possible, but I haven't worked out the details yet. I would like to see the new gold standard for secure messaging to be not just, SSL plus, off the record messaging or PGP or some other kind of trust no one pre-internet encryption system, but also have mixed up metadata where they can't say this person has been talking to this person. Like all the messages go into a pool and they're dispersed randomly, and other chat services have tried this and kind of failed miserably at it. But I'd really like to see not only the contents protected, but who's talking to who become anonymized or semi-anonymized in this next round of trying to build better applications.
Yeah, and unfortunately, look, maybe, or the last thing, this could be Facebook's attempt of, what's it called? Trying to say, look, we're really big into security. Don't think that we're just selling your data. So. Yeah,
that would be an interesting push for them to make.
Because remember, Facebook's not in the business of selling your data to others. They're not interested in others getting your data. They're interested in selling your data to other people.
Right.
Which they don't want to go to the government and anything else. But let's move on. We just saw it. We have to play with it. We'll go from there. Did you see the list of the most used passwords?
I actually did not see this one.
I mean, there's no a profoundly new thing.
Is Monkey still up there? Dragon, Password.
No, there were a couple of new ones, a couple of names. I think Steve and Mike. But number one was not Password. That was number two. It was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
Of course, a classic ultra secure password.
Now here's the question. Now, one of my students asked me this. Where do they get this data? And I'm assuming it's from Pastebin hacked databases.
Right. They either do an anonymous study where someone says, hey, what's your password? Really put this in the box. But most of this data is going to come from leaked password lists and cracked passwords and stuff that they found floating around the internet.
And so my question is, remember when Gawker got hacked, I don't know, a few years ago, who put a super secure password into Gawker? Right?
Yeah.
Or the New York Times. I mean, it's probably a bug me not type thing.
Yeah.
Okay, so if everyone's using passwords just so they can share it to their friends, I mean, I don't want this. Don't get me wrong, I don't want this. I want something really secure. I want the top 10 passwords from an Amazon data breach.
They would probably look exactly like every other password list.
You're probably right, but I don't want to believe that. I want to believe that that the bank passwords are slightly stronger. Maybe it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
Oh no, because some of the banks I've interacted with say, hey, look, you need a number, and your password's got to be 6 characters. Not at least 6 characters, but 6 characters exactly. But you're just like, that doesn't make a lot of sense. It also really lowers your brute force time because you don't have to iterate at all. It's 6. There's a number in it. I mean,
you take 5 factorial. I mean, yeah, it's terrible. But
I've seen some things. It's terrifying.
I mean, maybe I guess you were internal, but maybe in your old company or your new company or wherever, you could do I don't know, you probably can't, password audit of your current passwords where you have the stupid rules.
I tried to make that happen in my last company, and there were some questions about ethics. I mean, I was part of IT. I was the security guy, so it wasn't like I was going to crack my own company's passwords without permissions or anything. But there were questions about, well, it could contain private data. It might contain personal information. I don't know where we would stand legally on that. Yes, it's our password. Yes, they put it into our system, and yes, technically we own all of that. But I don't know how it would feel, and more importantly, I don't know how our users would feel about us cracking their passwords. So we abandoned that idea. From my informal study of people running up to me and telling me their passwords, it was kind of poor.
Yeah. people still don't see it as a necessary evil, and hopefully with Fido and Squirrel and all these other things, hopefully, passwords will be gone, and passwords will just be to get you into your screen, and that's about it. We'll take off your screensaver so it can be the egg button or whatever it is.
Now, have you played, speaking of Squirrel, have you played with Squirrel on Android yet?
No, I have not.
It's really, really fantastic. And I think my ISP hates me again.
I hear you. You're good.
Okay. But it's really, really fantastic. I did not expect this thing to be so fast. So, loaded up Squirrel. There's a Squirrel client for free on here. Of course, alpha level software, still testing things out, still building it, but really cool, seems really secure, and people are hammering on it and have been for a little bit now. There's a couple test sites out there that'll show you a QR code. It just pops up on the screen. You make a private key on here, which is like one click, and then you hold up your phone, and it's done. That's it. It logs you in, and it says, oh, hey, yeah, I logged you in now. That's it. There's no passwords. There's no waiting for anything. There's no typing in stupid numbers on your phone that you're looking at. It's really fantastic. I urge you, if you're at all interested in password security, the future of killing the password, or any type of login technology, take a look at Squirrel. Take a look at these the test sites out there. Really cool, really powerful stuff. And creating a new identity, like being a new anonymous user in the system, was as easy as saying, hey, I want a new identity. And the way they do it is really slick. The user interface is easy to use. It's not 100% yet. It's not grandma level, but it's getting there. And it's so close. It's so close. Well, so I urge you guys to try that out.
I installed it. I'm going to try it tomorrow. Speaking about passwords, not LastPass for Mac.
Yes.
It looks pretty. I have not installed it yet, but it's identical to the browser extension, except you don't need to run it in a browser, which I guess is good in the sense that it can fill, let's say, your Skype password in. Yeah. Like you could copy and paste, so you don't have to open the browser and do this and do that. I guess it has parity with the PC version, which I've rarely played with. So I'm just saying, congrats to the LastPass people. Check it out if you like shiny password managers that don't live in your browser.
Yeah, it's interesting, and I haven't played with it yet, so I can't really comment on it too much other than it looks shiny. And if it's made by the guys at LastPass, they're probably paying very, very close attention to security. So I don't think you have to fear that too much.
So with that, last thing, did you hear about the car thing? You know the thing that sticks into your OBD2 port in your car that sends certain insurance companies information, like how fast you drive?
Yes, I've heard of these, but I didn't hear that there was a story.
Well, can you guess what happens next?
Yeah, probably some insurance company was spying, or somebody jacked rates up, or some sort of privacy-busting thing.
Let's just say there's no encryption on it.
Oh, really?
There was a proof of concept. I read it, and it basically says if you have physical access and you can you can not hook up the device and cross a wire and do this and have Bluetooth and all this other stuff, you could do all these things.
Okay, now I'm not so concerned. I thought that they were transmitting data in the clear. I mean,
they're probably doing that too.
Yeah, they might be trolling now. But no, that sounds like the horrible Nest hack, where everyone's going to hack your thermostat and take over your home. And it turns out that they actually need to pull the Nest off of the wall, open it up, install a custom hacked firmware version with like SSH installed and everything else, because the Nest is just a Linux box. That's all it is. Now, install SSH and control everything from there, and then they can make your house as uncomfortably hot as they want to.
Or
now
cold.
That's terrifying. Or cold. Yeah. I mean, these are hackers we're talking about. They will stop at nothing to make you sweat bullets or shiver.
So, look, I saw that, I laughed. I told my paranoid friends that device now is gonna hurt you and this and that. They wanted me to get more information. I said, "There's no more information. Maybe there'll be more later."
If someone steals your computer and they put a camcorder inside of it, they can actually record what happens in your home.
No, the better one is
Especially if you've got a window.
if they steal your computer and put liquid nitrogen on the RAM port 30 seconds before it really shuts down, they can see all your data.
Yes.
That's the better one. But okay, fine, whatever. So here's our topic at hand. Obama said, after David Cameron said that he wants all our encryption keys, Obama, I don't know if it was yesterday, basically said, look, we like encryption. Encryption is good, all this good stuff, but the government should have access.
It might just be me being naive, and tell me if I'm wrong. Obama was always like the really, not nerdy, not like super high-brain technical dude, but he always kind of understood technology, right? Am I wrong?
I mean...
He was carrying a BlackBerry, not like last year.
He took office. He took office in
08.
08. Okay, so 07 was the first iPhone. So theoretically, the birth of the smartphone really came in 2007 in June, and not really till like 2010. So he was in that BlackBerry phase. I don't think President Bush or Bill Clinton had a need for a smartphone at that point.
I wouldn't imagine so.
So he's really the first president, and he was young, to say, you know what, I need to have this BlackBerry. Figure it out.
Yeah.
So I guess he understood that technology in that sense.
And he was, campaigning on promises of net neutrality and all this stuff that tech nerds are generally in favor of, and everyone's shaking their head, or nodding their head and saying, hey, this guy might know what he's talking about for technology.
And we hope he does. Like, this is, I mean, look at everyone else. You had a CEO of major companies who probably doesn't know how to read his email, Mitt Romney, and you had McCain before that, and you had all... Look, I don't trust too many of the Congress people to know what they're talking about.
I've got 98% of a population of a country here that would probably agree with you.
Okay, I mean, and when we so look, when it comes to that, I hope that Obama, didn't he install the president of the internet or some sort of like department of the internet?
Yeah, and then he's been working with the FBI cyber warrior command marine thing, whatever the internet defense group. He's been working closely with them. He's done a lot of interesting, good technical things that you think, okay, this guy probably knows what he's talking about.
Look, most recently he told the FCC to classify ISPs as Title II, which I don't know. Because there's no new law in the book, that's the law I want to go to. But they really should make a whole policy that separates these types of communications, because they're not the POT system. They're not all this other stuff. It's a brand new medium of communication that I think is a human right more so than anything else. He's now classifying broadband as 25 megabits, which is absolutely necessary.
There's a lot of good things, and that's why this story in particular has thrown me for a loop. And I'm not sure if it's just politics in general, because David Cameron, and I apologize, I hardly follow UK politics. Basically, the only time I follow UK politics is when this guy opens his mouth and says something ridiculous. As an American, that's probably how most Americans follow UK politics. Those of us who care at all about world politics. David Cameron, Prime Minister of the UK, came out and said, hey, I don't know why this encryption thing exists if we can't read these messages. This is ridiculous. Why is this even legal to send a message that we can't read? And his point being, if terrorists or aliens that are trying to bomb the Earth are sending encrypted messages, we need to read those to figure out how to protect people or how to defeat the enemy. Okay, I understand where he's coming from, but if you know anything about encryption, mathematics, computer security, any of that, or even just have some common sense, you say, wait a minute, backdoors, that means, and I've seen these movies, I've seen these bank heists, if there's a back door for the good guys, the bad guys will find out how to use it. Undoubtedly, right? End all, be all, if there's a back door, people will use it. And that's not just science fiction. It's not just in your bank heist movies. It's not just in your crazy, weird hacker movies. That's actually happened before. There have been encryption schemes out there specifically built to allow system admins or law enforcement to get in and read these messages that people have used for nefarious purposes. Not law enforcement, but just, the nasty, bad hackers and people who want to get into stuff and people trying to collect a bunch of data. They've used these backdoors. So you can't really have a backdoor in encryption if you want it to be safe. An encryption with a backdoor is not encryption.
There was a court case, or I don't know, I read this last week or 2 weeks ago, where some criminal defendant is suing the police because it's called catfishing, set up a fake account and on Facebook and got him to deal drugs to them, allegedly. And the guy is saying, hey, look, you claim to be somebody else. You're not allowed to impersonate. It's against Facebook's terms of service type thing. And it's one of those, well, you knew you can create a fake account. You didn't think that the police would also do fake accounts? Whatever the bad guys are doing or whatever the police are doing, was it hollow point bullets? If you don't think that criminals can get them, you're wrong.
And it's a really odd logical thing, and we will get to Obama here in just a minute. It's an odd logical thing for Cameron to even theorize that this would be possible, to outlaw backdoorless encryption, real encryption, to make it illegal. How does that happen? I mean, has he ever used the internet? When you put something on the internet, it never goes away. Yeah, you can request to have it deleted. Yeah, you can use a DMCA. Yeah, you can say this is completely outlawed and hunt down the websites that host the content. But you will never truly eradicate it. It will always pop up. And we've seen this with perfectly legitimate data that corporations want to get rid of or politicians want to get rid of. And then we've seen it with completely illegitimate data that hackers have spread all over the place because they've stolen someone's personal photos. I mean, stuff on the internet just doesn't go away. So how are you going to take these really strong, really, I don't want to call them perfect, but really mathematically sound encryption schemes that don't have any backdoors, and just make them illegal, make them all go away, and then expect the criminals and bad guys not to use them?
Well, what about GHCQ? They're allowed to encrypt and redact, but we're not.
Right.
I mean, really simple. You guys, the NSA, you guys absolutely use encryption, use everything, and you common folk, no, you're not allowed to do that. We need to have access to it.
I don't understand it. It's like putting a law together. Like Canada recently passed a law that says, hey, programs are not allowed to auto-update without your express permission. It's against the law. And they made the law specifically to combat malware authors or people that install unwanted software where it auto-updates and hijacks your browser and changes your search engine and puts a bunch of adware everywhere. They made the law specifically to combat that. What malware author is going to be stopped by some law on the Canadian books somewhere? It's criminals, by definition, operate outside of the law. Making a law isn't going to stop them. It's like a bully trying to punch you. And it's like, no, you can't punch me. It's against the rules. Well, yeah, dummy, they're a bully. That's what happens.
I asked someone who has some knowledge on security, more than me, and I said, do you think that we've stopped anybody using all this spying? And he said, here's the thing. Whether we did or didn't, we're never going to admit it. And I didn't want to buy that at first, but then I thought about it. If they say that they have, people are going to want to know more. If they say they haven't, then it's an admission of guilt. So I don't know. Do we think that we stop, let's say, these Paris attacks, or what we're trying to do now, have by using encryption, or what kind of we had to have some kind of intelligence?
Yeah, I don't think intelligence services are inherently evil. I mean, intelligence services do and will spy on people. That's why they exist. Now, whether that's moral or not, frankly, that's not my judgment call. But we pay the NSA to do a job, and then they do it. Now, what we didn't expect is that they were siphoning up all of our data, including the data of American citizens, which they're not supposed to do, which they've really gaffed up on in a couple really high-profile ways. But I don't think this helps. I really don't, because just like we discussed in the last episode or 2 episodes ago, the people who really want to cause harm, the people who really want to pull off a successful terrorist attack, it's not some robber somewhere holding up a 7-Eleven with no plan, and he just knows he needs some quick cash. No, these things are planned by people who are not idiots, right? They wouldn't be in the positions they're in or have the resources they do if they were completely idiotic. These people are going to be using encryption. They're going to be protecting their data, and making a law that says encryption is illegal is not going to stop them, because you know what else is illegal? Hijacking airplanes, or shooting up satirical magazines, or putting bombs in subway tunnels. Those things are also illegal, and laws didn't stop them.
Well, yeah, and unfortunately, we've always said this: tell criminals how they should follow the law, but
yeah.
And then we have. Yeah, go ahead.
To Obama. So, I don't know if this is just politics as usual, where, Obama's shaking David Cameron's hand and they're smiling at the camera and trying to get some press photos, or what. I really hope so, but even still, I can't fathom why he would essentially agree with everything David Cameron said. He said, oh yeah, encryption's all fine and good, but the government still needs a way to read these encrypted messages. We need a way to actually figure out what the content is. No, that's not the way this works. You should know this. Everyone should know this. If encryption has a backdoor, if you have a safe, but you can, your entire police department has a key to it, that's not, I don't know. It defeats the purpose of encryption entirely.
Well, having a safe is a problem because you just walk off with the safe and then deal with it later, but that's a different story. Anyway, right. Any last thoughts, because we're over?
I'm disappointed in Obama, and he shouldn't have said that. It's ridiculous to think that something like that could work. It's wrong. It's logically wrong. And anyway, if you build backdoors into all of our encryption, you can say goodbye to secure online banking. You could say goodbye to being able to ever use any sort of VPN. You can say goodbye to Tor. You can say goodbye to media companies protecting their content in any way. Because, all those great movies that you watch on Netflix or Amazon Prime or Google Play, yeah, guess what? They're using some form of encryption, either on the file they give you or the transport stream or both. And if there's a backdoor, you can be guaranteed that the people who want the content for free are going to get it. So this is ridiculous, and it makes no sense whatsoever. So I don't know, write your congressman or download the source code for PGP and fight the power.
Fight the power. Okay, on that note, we're going to end. We are over. We apologize, but I think we had a good discussion. So until next week, and we had good audio today, we'll see you then.
See you guys.
Bye.